When this article was brought to our attention last week by a mutual friend, it was talking about the nail industry and how in New York a lot of salons are exploiting immigrants, whether they're here legally or illegally. Many of them don't speak good English, if much at all. They have hardly any money. They're sharing apartments with tons of families or family members or friends or even complete strangers. And so it's painting this really bleak picture of survival and what these poor women are going through just so that they can come to America and start a new life. And then it starts talking about how many of them find work in these nail salons, but there's a catch. They have to pay to be trained, and then once they are trained and they've worked there for a while, they're not paid. And then once they finally are paid, they're paid far below minimum wage because the salon owners are saying, well, but you can do nails and you can do pedicures and you can do manicures and you'll get tips. You can just live off your tips. And then the story goes on and it gets even more depressing, and it talks about how these owners are just really taking advantage of these women, and they're fining them for things like spilling nail polish and things like that. And so this whole entire article, which is really quite lengthy, was using these women and their plight as a reason to invite more government regulation in nail salons. And so it was listing off all of these things that need to be done, and I don't have them all right in front of me. But I got to thinking about it, and I was like, wait a minute. We already have laws in place regarding the hours that you work. So if you have to work 12 hours in a day, you have to have lunch breaks. You have to have other breaks throughout the day. That's just the law. Even if you work 8 hours a day, that's the law. You're supposed to be paid a minimum wage. You have to have sanitary working environments. There's laws to protect against abuses in the workplace. And so I got to thinking, and I was like, is the answer that we need more government regulations, or is it that we need to enforce the regulations that are already there? And so that's kind of the way that I was looking at this article. It's just that if you have people who don't respect the law to begin with, what good is it to add 20 new laws and regulations to what's already existing? Because they've already proven they don't care about the ones that exist. So adding more isn't going to scare them into submission.
Well, that's similar philosophically to the people who want to put in place more gun laws because criminals don't obey laws in the first place, so more gun laws are useless. Mm-hmm. Criminals don't obey our immigration laws and our employment laws, and they take advantage of, the reason they can take advantage of these employees is because these employees are illegal. This is slavery. How is it any different from slavery? And it is not only government sanctioned. At this point, it's government encouraged.
And here's the crucial thing I think that makes this such a valuable story, other than just people, talking about these nail salons and the practices that they have. When we talk about what happens when people come here and are here illegally and try to find work, and we acknowledge that whole idea that people are coming here for a better life. Most people that come here are. Most of us can agree on that. But what happens is, because they are without documentation, because they are here illegally, it is so easy for them to be exploited in this manner, whether it's construction, whether it's nails, whether it's restaurant work, if that is where they happen to be. Any kind of profession in which someone is illegal, they are open to that exploitation, and they have no ability to do anything about it without running the risk of becoming afoul of the law themselves, to where a crime that they would report would not be seen as serious as the crime that they've committed and in being here illegally. Now, we can talk all day about the way that you got to fix the system, close the borders, whatever. But the key here that I think we can use to talk about this is that exploitation. The people who own those salons are people who have connections with those home countries. And that's easily investigated and looked into and inspected to make those people follow the laws that are on the books. The people that are in other kinds of businesses, may not have necessarily direct connections to home countries, but they have connections to people who work those angles and get people here. And it's a whole entire exploitation industry. And that by enforcing immigration laws and by enforcing these health codes and labor laws that we already have on the books, we are preventing the exploitation of people in this manner, people who are forced to work for nothing or for $30 a day maximum or something like this. And the exploitation angle is something I don't think conservatives use enough. There's just that knee-jerk rejection of people that are here illegally, regardless of their situation. And I think it's an oversight on our part that if we start talking about it in terms of exploitation, we might be able to make some headway with people who really haven't thought much about the issue but would be irate if they knew the conditions under which some of these people are working. Every group is after him. Every conceivable group is after him because he took his wife's Bible with him into a comedy club and things just went bad from there. And the ending is just adorable. It's really cute. But it's a great social commentary on how almost anything you say publicly anymore as a public persona is going to get picked apart by somebody.